Stay tuned now for Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome, everybody, to Westchester Eye on the Radio. I'm Peter Moses with my co-hosts John Sharan and Ardina Seward. Guys, this has been a pretty awful day so far today.
Pretty tragic, that's for sure, when you're talking about the worst shooting in the history of the United States of America.
No rhyme, no reason, no logic. Absolutely just baffling.
A lot of information has to be found out about this because this makes no sense.
Unfortunately, we had the shooting last year in, what was it, Tampa?
Yeah.
Where all those people
Orlando.
49 people, or all those 49 people were killed, and now we have 58 so far in Las Vegas, and I'm just not sure what the end game is here, because you have people who have not had any history with police. In case of this guy, and yet he went and injured 500 or more people and killed at least 58, and he had like 10 rifles with him.
More than that, he had a machine gun, and machine guns are illegal for personal use in the United States of America, and the big question is going to be, where did he get it? Because the only place I can think of is from something where they broke into a military armory, and it's just, he was 400 plus yards away. That had to be a heavy-duty machine gun. It couldn't be a handheld kind of
And
gun.
how do you get those things into a major hotel in a major city?
It's not as hard as you might think. Remember, he was there for 3 days in advance, so he was able to come and go and bring things in and out. You can break down weapons to very small sizes.
You are aware, though, that after this, you know that they're going to start having metal detectors.
They had mentioned that there's a possibility
Vegas
that major hotels may go to that route, and that's quite possible.
They're going to have to.
They have to. I mean, they have this all over Israel. This is what they do. When you go to the beach, they have a metal detector, and it's an unfortunate circumstance, but, you know, something that's how it is. But I think we also have to look at the pathology, because this kind of intent, this kind of violence doesn't start when you're 64 years old. It starts way, 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 way before. There has to have been something in his background.
We don't know. We know his father was among the FBI's 10 most wanted, and his father was absent because he was wanted by the FBI, and I'm sure was in prison. But
we do know that he had a huge armory. He had major collection of weapons, as well as a large accumulation of ammunition, and you don't accumulate those things in very short period of time. It takes a while to get as much as he had.
As far as we know.
Yes.
We don't know if that's true. Anyway, we do have guests today, and I don't want to give them short shrift. We have with us today two gentlemen from Chicago.
No, actually, Ken, a.k.a. Kenjamin Franklin is the owner and creator of Radioactive Talent. He's been around for years, and he promotes events. Yes, he's been around for years. He promotes
Don't
talent.
make him old.
He's not old. He's not old. Old age is the state of mind. And Ken, this time, he is the talent, because he, along with Carl Jamaris, has written a song as an ode to the Chicago Cubs. So Kenny baby, you out there?
I am here, Ardina. Hello, and Peter and John.
Can you guys hear this well?
No, it's okay.
Because I can barely hear him.
Paul on the line as well?
I can hear him fine.
Yeah, I'm on the line. I can hear. Yeah.
And it's Carl G. Marisi.
Carl G. Marisi. Pardon moi for my bad Italian pronunciation.
Well, so you didn't grow up in an Italian neighborhood. I got that name right away.
Au contraire,
Yeah.
I did.
Well,
So did you guys write the second best song ever written about the Chicago Cubs?
Gosh, I think it's the first best.
Oh, no. How can you compete with Steve Goodman's A Dying Cubs Fan Last Request, which I think is the best baseball song ever written?
You know what? You're right. And I knew Steve Goodman, and I had performed with him around Chicago back in the 70s, and he was a great guy and a great songwriter, and that was a great song. You know, there's no doubt about it. It was number one. So I'll go along with you on that.
I hope so, because I'm. It's great that you are flocking for your own work, as you should. But I mean, you got credit must be due for for a song that defined an
song.
entire city and an entire ethos for that part of the Midwest.
Oh yeah, and
Well,
being
there's
the
no
Cubs
doubt.
fan being the Cubs fan that I am too, and I've been to a lot of games, and I've had the opportunity to sing the national anthem at the Cubs games, and after a Cubs win, that song always comes on, and we all sing along. So it's definitely the.
And
the
it was
greatest Cubs
autobiographical.
song.
For those of you who don't know, Steve Goodman wrote the song "The City of New Orleans." That was his most famous
Right.
song. But he was
Exactly.
a diehard Cubs fan, and he was
Yes.
dying, I believe, of leukemia.
Right.
And
Go ahead.
Sounds like we're going to a.
And wow, that music got so loud in my ear. You're not hearing this?
No, I hear the music, but it's not that loud.
All right. Anyway, we're going to come back. I'm not going to be able to finish this point because I can't hear myself right now. We're going to go to break. This is Westchester Eye on the radio. I'm Peter Moses with John and Ardina. And
Ken and Carl.
And
Ken
Ken
and
and
Carl.
Carl. That's right.
and I cannot hear anything right now, so I'm going to have to switch headphones.
Go
And
stay
I'll
with
talk
us,
to you guys after this break.
Voice of the people, where many different voices are heard in the land.
WVOX. Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
See the lights glow round Ridley. I hear the cheering, bring the heat. Sheffield, Edison, Clark, and Waveland. A sea of true blue fill the streets. We sing, take me out to the ball game. Go, Cubs, go, Cubs, go. Let's sing it together, Chicago family. Let's win it together, Chicago family. Santa DeRoche, Banks, and Harry are smiling down from their seats at the bottom of the seven. They join us swaying on our feet. We sing, take me out to the ball game. Go, Cubs, go, Cubs, go. Let's sing it together, Chicago Cub family. Let's win it together, Chicago Cub family. Let's sing it together, Chicago Cub family. Let's win it together, Chicago Cub family. Let's sing it together, Chicago Cub family. Let's win it together, Chicago Cub family.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess that's
Wow.
go. That's Go Cubs Go. Was this written before or after they finally won a World Series?
It was really right after they won the World Series.
So this song was in part inspired by your loser city actually having a winning a winning World Series champ.
Oh,
Well,
very
it's
much
kinda
so.
funny.
You know,
Here's
Carl, I just want to add, Carl is a lifelong Chicago resident. I'm a native of New York City.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Carl could fill you in.
Yeah, well, Ken came to me with the song. It was written by, correct me if I'm wrong, but a Chicago songwriter, singer-songwriter, Liz Schidester, and then he had sent me just an unplugged acoustic version of her singing and playing a guitar, and I thought it was a catchy tune. And me being the giant Cubs fan that I am, and it was kind of strange to have a New Yorker like Ken bring me the song. And,
Ken, you're a disgrace to your region.
Oh, no, don't tell anyone. I am a big Mets fan, but, you know, you couldn't help
Wait. I thought maybe you were a Yankees fan. You're telling me that someone who I'm assuming lived through Leo DeRocher and Ron Santo in 1969, giving New York the collective finger for the entire season, you're flacking this song about a classless baseball team, at least back then. I can't speak for them now, but they defined trashiness in the late 60s, early 70s, other than Ernie Banks and Billy Williams and Ferguson Jenkins. I mean, a classless group run by the Wrigley family, who I had no respect for whatsoever, and Leo DeRocher, who really basically should have been on a garbage heap many years earlier.
Don't hold back, Peter. Let us know how you really feel.
He was human waste. By the way, does this song ever get played at the Cubs games? Are you on the rotation there?
Not yet.
No,
the Cubs, I believe, are very aware of us.
So is this turning into a Cubs bashing from
No,
the past?
not Cubs bashing. I mean, I went to school in the Midwest. I went to Miami University, the one in Ohio, and my friends were either from Cleveland, Cincinnati, or Chicago, and they were all arrogant. Well, not the Cleveland fans just thought their teams would never win anything, but the Reds fans back then, because I was there during the Big Red Machine era, and Cubs fans for some inexplicable reason thought that their cities were the best baseball cities in America. When we all know there's three great baseball cities in this country: there's New York, St. Louis, and Chicago.
That's correct.
In that order. In my opinion.
Well, yes, but it also emphasizes the great rivalry that New Yorkers don't seem to recognize. The fact is that the Cubs and the Cardinals is every bit as big, if not bigger, than Yankees Red Sox.
Get out of town.
Well, I'll have to say it's about as big. It is. The rivalry between the Cubs and the Red Sox, and the St. Louis Cardinals have been forever. I mean, they're two very old teams, and aren't the Cubs the oldest team in baseball? I mean, didn't they start? I thought that's what it is. But
they're also the subject of why the divisions are or were the way they were and why they are now, because Atlanta is further west than Chicago, and the fact of the matter is that the Cubs said that if you're going to go to divisions, you have to keep us in the same division as the Cardinals, and that's why when they went to divisions, that happened.
Whiny Chicagoans. They can't make pizza. They can't make pizza. They can't make pizza.
You don't like pizza as a cake? They make it big, you know?
Their hot dogs are so bad that in order to eat a Chicago hot dog, you have to
go to Milwaukee and get a bribe.
You have to have all this chazarai, and I know, Ken, you know what that means. All this chazarai on top of a hot dog in order to get it to be edible.
So now we're on pizza and hot dogs, huh?
Yeah.
My daughter went to Northwestern, and I had to endure 4 years of you guys, 4 years of these Cub fans. Drove me crazy.
Yeah. Well, what can I say?
Are you guys kneeling?
Are you guys genuflecting to the Star Spangled Banner, or are you kneeling?
Yeah, we're gonna get to the singing of the Star Spangled Banner. We'll let that play. And
we're standing.
We're standing. Hey, there you go.
Thank you.
And
we're standing.
As soon as that plays, Carl, I want to ask you about.
But we're going to break in like 5 seconds.
We're going to break. Okay, out of the break, we'll ask.
Okay.
WVOX.
Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the Radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
Welcome back to Westchester Eye on the Radio, our weekly discussion of issues relating to Westchester and the surrounding area. And right now the surrounding area extends all the way out to Chicago because we have...
Yuck.
Well, we have songwriters and promoters Ken Franklin and Carl G. Marisi, and they've got the song Go Cubs Go. And you guys must be excited since the Cubs are in postseason baseball.
Oh yeah, I mean it was a little rough up to the All-Star break. You know, I think they still had the World Series hangover,
right?
But they put it all together after the All-Star break, and I think they're the winningest team in baseball since then, and they've scored the most runs of any team.
Wait! I don't think
the people in Cleveland would agree with that.
I think Cleveland, who won like 22, 23 in a row, had a better record since then.
Well, they had a better winning record. Yeah, you're right.
During the time when the Cubs were streaking, the Cubs have had a good season. Their pitching seems to be lined up now, and I fully suspect that they have a good chance to go to the World Series.
I agree.
They're still a young team, but they have the experience of a World Series under their belt. So hopefully they can. You'd be working on all cylinders in the postseason, but their pitching they've had some injuries, and of course everybody has. It's part of baseball, part of sports, but I think they have a good chance.
But you guys have You guys have the smartest general manager in sports, Theo Epstein, a member of my tribe, and
I agree.
And the manager, Joe Madden is probably the smartest baseball manager that we've had.
Certainly one of them
in many years. So you guys have a double threat there with your management. So you're lucky with that.
Yeah,
but then again, your team is owned by people who are big supporters of the current president. So it makes it hard for those of us who aren't Cubs fans to get behind them when you think of the kinds of people the Ricketts are.
And speaking of number 45, Carl, I want to ask you. As we went into break, we played.
It's number 45.
We played the national anthem, and do you sang the national anthem beautifully? Do you feel defensive about singing it now?
Defensive? Why?
Do you feel defensive as far as the criticism of singing the national anthem is concerned? I mean, there's a lot of...
you mean because of everything that's gone on with Donald Trump and everything?
Yeah.
First of all, back up a little bit here now, because I didn't expect to get into politics here. And, I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump. A lot of Chicago fans are, whether the Ricketts are or not. I think that goes back and forth in the family. They're a family that owns the team. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Whether you are or you're not, it doesn't matter if you're a Cubs fan, it's all about, we're talking about baseball here. But anyway, now to answer your question regarding the national anthem, first of all, when we did that, this was earlier in the summer. This was before all this, started up with Donald Trump and so forth. And, my feeling is if I'm at a ball game during the national anthem, I will stand. If I'm singing the anthem, I'll stand. But those that take a knee, I respect that because I believe they're doing it for the right reason. And it's not because they're dissing the military or dissing this country, this great country that we have. It's for another reason, and I think Donald Trump is missing that reason, and that's my feeling. I mean, I don't know what else to say,
I think it's very well said.
Very diplomatically stated. Very diplomatically stated.
So, besides your song, are you guys students at all in the history of other baseball songs? I mean, I'm sure you know. Mrs. Robinson from,
Mrs.
Robinson from The Graduate,
and The Graduate, Simon and Garfunkel,
and I'm sure you know the I don't know if you know the song about Willie Mays and You know, the one that was Say Hey, Say Who's. It was I forget the name of the group. I forgot the name of the group. It starts with a T. And there was a song about Mickey Mantle in the 50s. The Treniers did the song for about Willie Mays, and then of course, Terry Cashman's famous Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, which for years I thought was the greatest baseball song.
You left out my personal favorite, Van Lingle Mungo.
Yes, what? Van Lingle Mungo. Van Lingle Mungo. Are you guys familiar? You're from Chicago, so you may have heard of Dave Frischberg. He's a pianist and a songwriter.
No, I can't say.
Anyway,
and there's even Chicago history with, as Carl could tell you, the song was that "Hey Hey Say Goodbye," by Steam.
Right.
That song played in so many stadiums to this day, but it made its debut at Chicago, not Cubs, but the White Sox.
The White Sox. Oh yeah, that's like sort of become an anthem for them.
Yeah. Baseball. I mean, Center Field by John Fogerty, which I think is an overrated song. I don't think it's all that great. I don't think it's really mostly about baseball.
Yes,
anyway.
But we have Bill Veeck and the White Sox to thank for Disco Demolition Night.
Yes, 1976.
Exactly. Well, I'm a tremendous Chicago sports fan, and I love sports, and especially Chicago, and the Chicago Cubs fans are just every bit as loyal as the Yankees fans and the Mets fans, and we're long-suffering fans. I mean, come on, it was over 100 years since we had a World Series, and No.
You guys made the World Series in 1945. That was your last.
I meant to say since we won the World Series. You're right.
Yes.
We were in the World Series, and I meant it's been over 100 years since we won the World Series. And it's just it's a tradition. It's I always remember my father who never got to see. They got close once in '84, I guess. When we lost to the Padres, and I remember him saying, I'll never see them win a World Series, And at that point, he was still fairly young, and I was saying, "Hey, Dad, come on, you got a lot of time yet." But he never did. He never did get to see it.
That's sad.
So
that's very sad.
It's a sad story, and I'm sure that a lot of people have those stories and whatever. But I'm just glad I got the opportunity to do this Cubs song. I don't know what'll happen with it. If the Cubs will pick up on it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I know Ken Franklin's trying hard to make things happen with it. I was fortunate and glad that I got the opportunity to do this song and work with. He put myself and a guy by the name of Joe Vitelli. Joe is an outstanding, incredible, that's known in the music world, drummer that he is. He's the drummer for with Joe Walsh. And he's played with the Eagles, and he's played Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and he's been with a lot of different people, and he worked with so many great musicians through the years, and a hell of a nice guy, and him and I worked on this together and came up with a track that worked, and that's him on that incredible drum track that's on the Cubs,
By the way, the production of the song, was that all with real musicians, or was some of this computer generated?
It's mostly real. Joe did it on his. He used a computer studio that he has, but it's real drums. It's real guitar playing. I played the guitar on the track. I did the lead singing. We went into the Joliet College. And had a bunch of the kids, students at the college, sing "Go Cubs Go."
Okay, I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're going to go to break. When we come back, let's talk more about baseball and music and the song that you guys wrote and the history of baseball and music. This is Westchester Eye on the radio on WVOX and WVOX.com. And we'll be right back after this hopefully short break.
Local station.
WVOX. Let's return now to Westchester Eye on the radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and Ardina Seward on 1460 WVOX.
And we are back live. This is Westchester Eye on the radio with Peter Moses, John Sharan, and our guests today, Ken Kenjamin Franklin and Carl G. Maurici. Carl's calling in from Chicago. Yes. I finally got it right,
Boy, you said it perfectly. Great.
How long did it, as far as the logistics of this song, how long did it take from conception to birth? How long did it take for this song to really become what it is now?
A final song that was mixed and mastered and ready to go.
Yeah.
It took us. It probably took us a couple months, because we weren't working at it every day too. Because Joe Vitelli was out on the road with Joe Walsh and doing a lot of stuff, and of course I'm constantly performing with the Buckinghams. We're always out playing, and as a matter of fact,
October 21st, we might want to add Carl and
right.
his
I was
band.
just going to say.
Yeah.
That will be in Westbury, New York, on October 21st, doing a show.
Oh,
with,
that theater in the round, the rotating stage.
Theater. Right. The
old Westbury Fair, now known as the NYCB Theater at Westbury.
Right, the NYCB Theater. So we're doing a show with Peter Noon, Herman's Hermits, Peter Tork from the Monkees, and the Grassroots.
Oh, wow.
And that's a yearly show that we do. I mean, we're there at least once a year, about the same time of the year, and it's fun. It's one of the things I love about the East Coast is the theater in the rounds. You don't see them anymore in the Midwest or anywhere else in the country, and there's still some that are going, on the East Coast.
It's sometimes distracting as a theater goer to have the theater in the round, because in most theaters the stage doesn't move, and so the view you have of the group is consistent the entire show.
Right.
But at theater in the round, you're looking at their butts after a while, and not that I have anything against how anybody looks from behind, but we're not young anymore, and I really don't want to look at guys' butts during a show myself.
Well, you can criticize the Westbury Theater, but I'll tell you, Peter, the thing I like best about it, I've seen many shows there, the worst seat in the place is 36 rows from the stage, and you will see some songs directly straight on, and there aren't too many places where you can get a reasonably priced ticket and sit no more than 36 rows from the stage.
Well, I'm sure that's true. I mean, I grew up at the Capitol Theater in Portchester. I worked there, and my favorite singer is a woman named Angela Bofield. She's a jazz R&B singer, and I've seen her a dozen times, and I saw her in Westbury, and my head was spinning by the end of the show, because I had never been to a theater in the round, except for the Circle in the Square, where I saw Death of a Salesman with George C. Scott, and I sat with his ex-wife, Colleen Dewhurst. That was kind of interesting.
Well, it seems like there's, almost every seat in the house is a good seat. You can see the stage because, it graduates upward, and you kind of looking down at the stage, and it works really, really well. I've had occasion where I've walked off the stage, while the show's going on, I'll go out into the audience and, shake a few hands or whatever, and turn around to get back up on stage, and I'm in the wrong.
Whoa! I'm on a merry-go-round. Yeah. By the way, how many chords are there in this song? Go Cubs Go.
How many chords?
Yes.
Let's see. Actually, about 4 chords, really. There's one minor chord, and it's pretty simple. It's all about the rhythm, the lyric, and the rhythm of the song. It's pretty simple as far as chordally. The structure of the song. And it has a great feel to it. And I give Joe Vitelli credit for that, because he created a really nice drum track for it, and it was easy for me to play guitar to it, and a vocal. It was easy to sing vocally.
Yes, I could see. I could
see a
it.
Little tune,
and it's a very declarative song.
And as far as
what we were saying before the break was, as Carl was saying, that Carl even incorporated the Joliet Junior College chorus to sing the chorus part.
But as far as the lyrics are concerned, did you and Carl have equal input, or did you argue over a couple of words? It
was written by somebody else.
I was written by somebody else. Shows you what I know. But the thing is, it's still very upbeat. It's very, very positive.
Yeah, the way it kind of went down, as you were asking earlier, Adina, was back in October when the Cubs were getting deeper into the playoffs. I spoke with Liz Tritester, and she wrote just about all the music. I wrote some of the lyrics, maybe about 10% of the lyrics, so there was a little tweaking going on. But then when we brought Carl and Joe aboard, they just made it all come together. So it really happened over the course of from October to like April.
Yeah. Joe and I had nothing to do with actually writing the song, the lyrics or anything, and it was a little difficult for me at first to fit all the words in, musically, and we went back and forth on that. But
have you done a video? Have you done a video of the song?
Well, there is a promo video. It's not like a video per se. It's like a promotional video that incorporates some pretty neat photographs of Carl during his Buckingham days. And there's a great photo of Carl wearing our ChicagoCheer.com T-shirt.
I got a question, though.
Yeah.
You want to get it at Wrigley Field. You want them to start putting that in their rotation. And there are bars all around Wrigley Field. And I would imagine if you went to one of those bars a couple of times and, you explained what you guys were trying to do and you had a videographer with you, that you could teach them when to say "Go Cubs, go," because it's not, that's easy. Yeah. That's easy to remember. And you could put together a video. You can make it go viral. And then the Cubs won't have any choice but to put you on there because there's something out there for people to see and to rally around, rather than, I don't know how you're going about it now, but I imagine putting together an actual live video at a bar with people screaming "Go Cubs, go." I'm not denigrating the junior college. I think that was very inspired for you guys, but I wonder if you had actual Cubs fans at a bar where there's Cubs signs all over, the place, and people are locked into the game, that you might get better resonance than you're getting right now.
Well, that's very true.
That would make a great video, to do something like that. There are so many great bars, along Addison Avenue and Waveland and the Cubby Bear and, all these different. It would be fun to do that kind of thing, a video. I mean, one of the dreams we had for the song too was to get it used in a commercial, or the
yeah.
Cubs,
but if you put something together, and then you can present it to them, it'll give them a jumping off point. I don't know if you guys know this because Ardina got you guys to be guests, but do you know Ardina was the first news camera woman in the United States?
In the history of news.
In the history of news.
Paid by news in the history of news. Yeah.
You didn't know that, did you?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I met Ardina when she was filming one of my clients with Josh Howell at ABC Eyewitness News.
Oh, talk about a blast from the past. Josh is a great guy. Love Josh.
Oh, he seemed a little weird to me.
Josh was he was a straight arrow. He was a I believe it was a military academy graduate. He forgive me.
Did he carry a gun?
Annapolis.
Did he carry a gun?
No, he was conservative, but he was a good guy. Josh was a good guy.
By the way, guys,
merchandise. I want to add that we do have a website, ChicagoCheer.com, and from there you can see all our colorful merchandise and so forth. But that point you made about doing something, creating like a viral video while the Cubs are now in the playoffs, is something that we will definitely consider.
Something just as a suggestion, you could get people just to do selfies cheering at various bars in Chicago, just doing the Chicago cheer.
You can intersperse that.
Intersperse, and you string those together, and you got a video.
Right.
Oh,
so you guys need that New York energy and intellect that we collectively have here. And Ken, you should have it as well.
I'll put something together for you.
We are can-do people.
You know what? Send me some video. Because I like you guys. I'll put something together for you. I'll do a video for you.
That's pretty cool.
Just send me the videos. But you got to get people to cheer in the different bars.
All right, so
I agree.
Very good.
I mean,
yeah. Well, guys, we're gonna be getting off the show now. Ardina, do we have anyone set up for next week?
Trying to put together a show for Columbus Day from the Native American perspective. So let's see what happens.
Okay, and I'm not going to say "Go Cubs, go," but if they repeat it, that would actually be a a good news story in this era of complete insanity in our country and around the world. So I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope that we all can pray and wish for good things for the city of Las Vegas. They're going to need it.
From the world headquarters of Whitney Global Media, this is 1460 WVOX and WVIP HD2, New Rochelle.
This is a Fox News alert.
We heard the shots, and I don't think anybody realized at first what was going on.
I'm Lisa Brady. The search for evidence and answers continues after a gunman opened fire from his hotel room on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay